Good morning, sunshine. Welcome to another day of the Make Your Damn Bed podcast. Today, I'm doing a very special video element if you'd like to tune in on youtube.com/JulieMerica. Otherwise, you can listen wherever you listen to podcasts in audio format. Today, we're talking about anger and the fact that I grew up in a household that completely disregarded and disrespected any type of anger that was not from an adult. My parents were very emotional people and both pretty loud. They're yellers, they're reactive, they're impulsive. But us as children weren't allowed to express as much anger as it wasn't an attractive quality in a child. And I noticed it especially with me as a little girl being told that my brother could punch things and hit things, but I can't. And that's unattractive and unbecoming for me as a little girl. And when my mom taught me that, I somehow would suppress that emotional state of anger, which is a physical and emotional thing that happens. And as a kid, that takes a lot of energy to suppress that, right? And as a kid, I would suppress this anger. And in a way to release it, it would turn into sadness and frustration and passive aggressiveness. There's an impact theory episode with Dr. Gabor Mate that I love very much, where he talks about how being angry as a child is an energetic and physiological state, and that there is a Jordan Peterson 12 Rules of Life premise in which if a child shows anger, you put them in a corner and tell them to be by themselves until they can cool off and get back to their normal state. And Dr. Gabor Mate goes in to say how dangerous this can be, because it can cause us as individuals to not only suppress our emotions, but try to counteract and regulate ourselves and deny our authentic selves in lieu of fitting in with the family, in lieu of trying to be connected. So in order to feel more connected to others, you will disconnect from yourself. And that's not good. Where we should be practicing how to manage emotions appropriately and how to respond to emotions so that they're not being suppressed and pushed down to come out and release in a more toxic and negative way in the future, but also so that we can appropriately learn how to manage our emotions without disconnecting ourselves from ourselves and from others. And while sometimes when we are angry, we're gonna need to take a moment and get back to normal and return to a more healthy state, because that's good for us where we're at now. But when we punish children for their anger, or we ourselves were punished for feeling anger at a younger age, that disconnection can be our instinct. And oftentimes that's not actually the healthiest way to deal with our emotion. And when we do repress our anger over time, it can manifest in other physical symptoms that are not only unhealthy for our bodies and our minds, but also can cause long-term problems with our health. And to me personally, something that I've noticed specifically with allowing myself to feel anger, because a lot of my anger is justified. We have a lot of reasons to be pissed off. That's a valid emotion. But learning how to not restrict myself from feeling that emotion when it comes up, but just sitting with it and not letting it dictate my life has really changed my relationship to it, and also not associating myself with that anger. That is an emotion I'm having. It's not who I am. I am not controlled by my anger, but I am someone who can feel anger. I'm not an angry person. I am a person who experiences anger from time to time. And by not making it an unattractive physical quality about myself, it's really helped me to disconnect from the emotion instead of myself for feeling the emotion. And that has been incredibly helpful in learning how to deal with emotions in an appropriate way, but also how to better my relationship with myself and those around me without detracting from the reality that's existing. Because anger itself is not an unattractive quality. The reactions to anger that we often have are where we associate that unattractiveness and unbecomingness, because people scream and get aggressive and get mean and make it physical. But if we don't react to our emotion, instead we sit with it and figure out where it's coming from And we recognize that that is not only a normal human experience, but one that can be honored and loved and supported if we deal with it appropriately, can really change not only the way that you respond, but the way that you feel with responding. And it can also reduce the amount of effect that anger has on you. As I've been practicing this, I feel less and less controlled by my anger, which means I don't have to feel like I need to control it so much, which makes the cycle feel a lot less painful and overwhelming to even approach. So whether you're in the process of learning how to deal with your anger effectively or just learning that it's okay to sit with it, either way, I love you very much. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll talk to you tomorrow while you make your damn bed. Bye, cutie.